So the next time you board a commercial flight, take a second to just watch what the people around you are doing as they settle in.
Oh yeah, the boarding rituals.
Right, like you will likely see passengers just aggressively scrubbing down their tray tables with sanitary wipes.
Yeah.
Or, you'll see people using a paper towel to open the bathroom door.
Oh, for sure. People are very cautious about those areas.
Exactly. They are just hyper aware of all these obvious surfaces.
Mm.
But almost universally, they completely ignore the one object they are federally mandated to strap directly across their waists for the entire duration of the flight.
Yeah, it's wild.
And it's an object that, in many cases, it hasn't been deep cleaned since it literally left the factory.
It really is a massive psychological blind spot for us. We tend to focus so much of our travel anxiety on, well, the recycled air we breathe, or maybe the person coughing like 3 rows back.
Yeah, the airborne stuff.
Exactly. But when you look closely at the microbiology of a commercial flight, the most immediate and concentrated threats aren't airborne at all. They are tactile. The real danger lies in the things you touch. And understanding the physical landscape of those microscopic threats is, well, it's the first step to genuinely empowering yourself to travel safely.
Which is why we've been analyzing some, frankly, eye-opening research from public health experts and microbiologists to figure out how to, navigate this environment. And the data points to a very specific, incredibly overlooked germ hotspot on the airplane.
It really does.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because realizing that the seatbelt, and I mean both the metal buckle and the thick fabric strap, is essentially the dirtiest thing on the plane,
Yeah.
it completely shifts how you have to think about flying.
It forces a total perspective shift, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we assume the bathroom handle or, like you said, the tray table are the ultimate culprit.
Or the obvious one.
But the seatbelt is uniquely problematic due to a concept that Kelly Reynolds, she's a professor and environmental microbiologist at the University of Arizona, she identifies it as high-touch contamination.
High-touch contamination.
Okay, right. The equation is actually quite unforgiving. So when you have an object touched by virtually every single passenger, combined with an extremely low frequency of thorough cleaning...
You get a germ hub.
Exactly. You generate a massive localized germ hub.
I was trying to visualize how this works in practice, and it reminds me of like the communal pen at a busy bank.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
The one attached to the little beaded chain that 1,000 unwashed hands have grabbed before you even walk in the door.
Yes.
Except on an airplane, you don't just use the pen for 10 seconds to endorse a check. You are physically strapped into it for 3 hours.
That's the scary part.
But I do want to look at the other surfaces, though, because instinctively the bathroom door still seems like it should be worse. A bathroom is objectively dealing with more bio-waste than a seat. So why does the seatbelt outrank it in this high-touch contamination profile?
Well, the bathroom absolutely deals with more bio-waste, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also deals with more bleach. And that is the critical difference, because a bathroom is an obvious, universally recognized source of germs. It gets prioritized.
Makes sense.
Airlines have protocols to sanitize the lavatories. Passengers themselves are cautious in there. But the seatbelt, however, is a silent offender.
It just blends in.
It blends seamlessly into the background of our routine. You sit down, you buckle up, you don't inspect it.
No, never.
And more importantly, it's complex construction.
Mm-hmm.
So the pairing of a hard metal buckle with a highly porous fabric strap, it makes it uniquely resistant to casual cleaning. Grime accumulates there in ways it simply cannot on, say, a flat plastic tray table.
So let's get into the material science of that grime, actually, because this is where the research from William J. Sullivan, he's a specialist in infectious disease biology at the Indiana University School of Medicine, it gets incredibly detailed here.
Yeah, his work is fascinating.
The way different materials harbor microscopic life totally dictates the risk level. So, starting with the metal buckle, it's a smooth, non-porous surface.
Right. Smooth surfaces, like the plastic on your armrest or the stainless steel of that metal buckle, they provide a very stable environment for certain pathogens.
Stable meaning they just sit there.
Exactly. Without getting too lost in the weeds here, a virus or a bacterium resting on a hard, smooth surface isn't subjected to much physical friction that might tear apart its cellular structure.
Oh, wow.
Because of that stability, Sullivan notes that pathogens can survive on these buckles for hours and sometimes even days. Days. We are talking about highly transmissible viruses like influenza, COVID-19, and norovirus, alongside really robust bacteria like E. coli and MRSA.
Which, for anyone who has encountered those last two,
Right.
E. coli is notorious for causing severe gastrointestinal distress. It's the kind of thing that ruins a vacation instantly.
Oh, absolutely.
And MRSA is a staph infection that is literally defined by its resistance to common antibiotics. The idea that these are just like chilling on the metal latch you click into place is wild to me.
It is unsettling.
But then we have the other half of the seatbelt, right? The fabric strap. And Sullivan outlines what seems to be a strange contradiction with the fabric.
Yeah, it's often referred to as the fabric paradox.
Fabric paradox.
Right, so smooth surfaces like the metal buckle keep germs right on the very top, meaning they transfer to your hand instantly when you touch them.
Because there's nowhere for them to hide.
Exactly. But they are also very easy to wipe down. Now, a cloth seatbelt strap is the exact opposite. Because it's a woven nylon or a polyester blend, it's inherently porous.
Right.
So when germs land on it, they don't just sit on the surface. They get pushed deep into the microscopic gaps between the woven fibers.
So the fibers act like a dense, tangled forest. And if a pathogen gets pushed in there, it's shielded from the friction of passengers sliding past it. Or even like a casual wipe down by a cleaner, it's protected.
Precisely. It's totally protected. And while being trapped in that microscopic forest means the germ might not transfer as easily to the very next hand that brushes against it, it creates this hospitable microclimate.
Like hospitable?
Yeah. Tucked away in those fibers, away from direct light and friction, unwashed fabrics can retain moisture and actually sustain certain types of bacteria for months.
Months.
Yes. The longevity of the bacteria living in that fabric strap is staggering.
Okay, that implies a passenger flying in December could literally be touching a microscopic remnant from someone who flew in August.
Potentially, yes.
And when you look at the logistical reality of the airline industry, it's easy to see why this happens. I mean, if you sit at your gate, you watch a plane empty out, and like 20 minutes later, your boarding group is called for that exact same aircraft.
Oh, yeah. The turnaround is incredibly fast.
The turnaround times are so fast that the cleaning crews are essentially just doing a visual sweep, right?
Speed is the natural enemy of sanitation. Sullivan points out that these fast turnaround times make a thorough, microscopic decontamination of the cabin practically impossible.
They just don't have time.
Right. The crew has time to empty the trash, maybe run a quick vacuum down the main aisle, and, wipe the bathroom counter. They categorically do not have the time to walk row by row, sanitizing 300 individual metal buckles and deep cleaning 300 porous fabric straps. The economics of the airline industry simply don't allow for it.
We actually found this incredible piece of observational data that completely backs up the microbiology here.
Yeah.
There is a flight attendant who spoke about this in a viral social media post, and she gave this totally unfiltered look at what actually happens to those seatbelts during a flight.
Oh, I saw this. It's eye-opening.
Yes, she noted that everyone touches the metal part to buckle, and everyone pulls on the fabric part to adjust the tension. But then she listed what gets spilled on them.
They're quite a list.
She mentioned throw up, baby vomit, bodily fluids, spilled coffee, sticky sodas. All of that is soaking into that dense, tangled fiber forest we just talked about. And she ends her post by literally pleading with passengers, saying, quote, wipe them down, babe.
It is a really visceral image.
Yeah.
But it is the practical, on-the-ground reality that validates the laboratory research. If the seatbelt, the one device you cannot opt out of using, is compromised, well, it necessitates a critical evaluation of the entire physical space you occupy when you fly.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting. Because Sullivan's data doesn't just stop at the seatbelt. He mapped out the spatial dynamics of the whole cabin to figure out how proximity to other people dictates your risk.
The geography of the plane, basically.
Exactly. I'm looking at his breakdown of seat selection, and I'm guessing the window seat is the statistical winner because of its physical boundaries, right?
Yeah.
You have a solid wall on one side, which immediately cuts your exposure radius in half, plus you're removed from the aisle.
Exactly. You've essentially removed yourself from the microbial highway.
The microbial highway, that's a great term.
Yeah, because the aisle is a high traffic zone.
Yeah.
Every single passenger heading to the lavatory is walking past you. They are grabbing the tops of the aisle seats for balance, they are coughing, they are talking, and as they move, they are just shedding microbes into the air and onto surfaces.
So if you are sitting in the aisle, you are constantly in the splash zone of that foot traffic.
Constantly.
And Sullivan notes that sitting near the restroom is the absolute worst-case scenario.
Yeah.
You aren't just on the highway, you're sitting at the busiest toll booth on the highway.
Right, it's a bottleneck.
But even safely tucked away in a window seat, you still have to deal with the immediate radius of objects around you. The overhead air knobs, the touch screens, the armrests. And there is one area Sullivan calls out as a particular nightmare, the seat back pocket.
Ugh, the seat back pocket. It functions as a communal trash receptacle that is rarely, if ever, deep cleaned.
It's so gross.
It is. Passenger stuff use tissues in there, half-eaten sandwiches, apple cores, dirty diapers.
Oh, man.
And then the very next passenger comes along and slides their iPad or their headphones or their reading glasses right into that exact same pocket. It is a highly efficient transfer point for pathogens.
But there is a missing link here that we need to connect because sitting next to a contaminated seat back pocket or even touching a grimy seatbelt, it doesn't spontaneously launch germs into your bloodstream.
No, it doesn't.
The virus has to actually get inside your body to cause an infection.
Right, and the connection lies entirely in human behavior. Kelly Reynolds tracks this in her research, and she introduces a behavioral statistic that is critical to understanding the mechanism of infection here. She notes that, on average, adults and children touch their faces up to 50 times an hour.
50 times an hour. That is almost once every single minute. I mean, I'm probably doing it right now without even realizing it.
Most of us do. We rest our chins on our hands, we rub tired eyes, we scratch our noses, and this is the core mechanism we need to understand.
Okay.
The physical object, like the seatbelt or the armrest, does not make you sick. The danger is the transfer. Yes. You touch the porous fabric of the seatbelt, the hidden bacteria hitch a ride onto the pads of your fingers, and 45 seconds later, you rub your eye. You have just provided a direct, express pathway for those pathogens to bypass your skin and enter your body through a mucous membrane.
Wow. So, what does this all mean for us? If the mechanism of infection is our own subconscious habit of touching our faces once a minute, and we are strapped into a confined space surrounded by high-touch contamination zones, like, how do we break the chain? We obviously can't hover above our seats for a 4-hour flight.
No, we don't need to hover, but we do need a strategy. The microbiologist provided a very clear defensive flying playbook.
Oh, playbook. I like that.
Yeah. William J. Sullivan laid out a tactical routine focused entirely on controlling the immediate perimeter around your body. It is all about mitigating that transfer mechanism.
I noticed his routine starts before you even sit down, which actually surprised me. The very first directive is to bring your own water and stay highly hydrated. I always thought drinking water on a flight was just about avoiding that sluggish, dry feeling, not about fighting off E. coli.
Well, it is actually a primary immunological defense.
Really?
Yeah, your body has natural barriers, specifically the mucosal linings in your nose and throat. Think of them like a sticky protective moat that traps airborne invaders before they can get deep into your respiratory system.
Okay, a moat.
But when you are in an airplane cabin, the air is incredibly dry, which dehydrates that mucus, effectively drying up the moat. So staying continuously hydrated keeps those natural barriers thick and functional.
That makes total sense. You're basically fortifying the castle walls from the inside. So the next step is where the physical combat begins. As soon as you stow your bag and sit down, you have to establish a clean perimeter using an alcohol-based wipe. You hit the tray table, the armrests, and knowing what we know now, you vigorously wipe both the metal buckle and the fabric strap of the seatbelt.
And the chemistry of those wipes is important. A true alcohol-based wipe works by physically breaking down the lipid envelope, which is the protective outer fatty layer of a virus, effectively destroying it.
Okay, so it destroys it completely.
Yes. And Kelly Reynolds adds a crucial detail here. You should prioritize using the sanitizing wipe the airline hands you as you board.
Oh, really? Because I always just use my own.
A lot of passengers do, or they just decline them or throw them in their bags. But she emphasizes that airlines use specific, rigorously tested products. They are certified, registered disinfectants designed to neutralize the exact pathogens found in a cabin environment.
Oh, that's smart.
So use theirs first, but always carry your own backup stash just in case.
Right, treat the airline wipe as your primary weapon. So, step 3 in Sullivan's playbook is simple, but requires a lot of discipline. Avoid the seat back pocket entirely. Just treat it as quarantine space. Don't put your phone in it. Don't slide your water bottle into it. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Which eliminates one of the major transfer points completely.
Right. And then there is the timing of your hand sanitizer, which is apparently more strategic than just slathering it on randomly. You obviously sanitize your hands right before you eat or drink anything, but Sullivan points out that you also need to sanitize your hands immediately after you buckle yourself back into your seat.
Right. If you think about the sequence of events, say when you use the restroom, it becomes obvious.
Walk me through it.
Okay, you unbuckle the contaminated seatbelt, You walk down the microbial highway of the aisle, you use the lavatory, you walk back, you sit down, and then you pull that exact same fabric strap across your waist to buckle back in.
Oh, man.
You've just recontaminated your hands. If you don't sanitize right after that final click of the buckle, you've undone all your defensive work.
It's so easy to miss that step. Speaking of the lavatory, there is a very specific pro tip for when you are in there. You wash your hands thoroughly in that tiny sink, but the critical moment is leaving.
The door.
The door. Every single passenger who used that bathroom before you, some of whom undoubtedly skipped the soap, had to twist that exact same metal latch to unlock the door.
Right.
So Sullivan says you must use a clean paper towel as a physical barrier to grip the latch, open the door, and then just throw the towel away as you step out.
It is the final tactile defense. I mean, if you touch that latch with bare skin, the hand washing was essentially pointless.
Now, all those steps address the surfaces, right? The tactile threats. But Sullivan includes one final hack that addresses the air. And the physics behind this are brilliant.
It really is a great tip.
Because the overall cabin air is actually very safe. It runs through hospital-grade HEPA filters. The real airborne threat isn't the air circulating through the plane. It's the specific air coming out of the mouth of the person sitting directly next to you. If they cough, you breathe in their respiratory droplets before those droplets ever reach the plane's filtration system.
That is the localized threat. And while wearing a high-quality N95 mask provides a strong physical barrier against those droplets, Sullivan suggests utilizing the overhead airflow knob to create an active defense.
An active defense? How?
Well, you reach up, turn it on full blast, and point it slightly in front of your face.
See, I always used to turn that knob off immediately because the draft made me cold. I think a lot of people do.
It is a really common reaction. But by keeping that air flowing continuously downward, you are creating an invisible cone-shaped force field of clean, filtered air around your breathing zone.
A force field.
Yeah. The downward physical pressure of that air actively pushes the exhaled respiratory germs from the passenger next to you away from your face before you have a chance to inhale them. It's a simple application of positive air pressure.
It is brilliant. You are literally using aerodynamics to fight biology.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what makes Sullivan's entire routine so valuable is that it transforms travel anxiety into actionable control.
Right.
An airplane is an inherently chaotic environment. You surrender your autonomy the moment you step on board. You can't control the turbulence, you can't control the flight path, and you certainly can't control the hygiene habits of the 300 strangers flying with you.
Definitely not.
But these aren't paranoid behaviors. They are evidence-based habits. By understanding the science of high-touch contamination and following this playbook, you reclaim total control over your own immediate health radius.
It's a highly empowering way to look at it, really. We've covered a lot of ground today on this deep dive. We started by exploring that universal creeping anxiety of flying in a confined space. We analyzed the hidden nightmare of the airplane seatbelt, diving into how smooth metal sustains viruses and how the fabric paradox allows porous nylon to shelter bacteria for months.
Which is still terrifying.
Totally. We look at the grim logistical realities of 20-minute turnaround times, the microbial highway of the aisle, and the realization that our own habit of touching our faces 50 times an hour is the real enemy. But most importantly, we are walking away with a biological battle plan to neutralize those threats.
It completely reframes the passenger experience, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Oh.
So to you listening right now, the next time you settle into your seat, stow your tray table, and hear the familiar chime to fasten your seatbelt, you are going to look at that heavy fabric strap with a lot more respect. But armed with this playbook, you're also going to be the smartest and safest person in your row.
And I will leave you with this final thought to consider long after you land. It is deeply ironic that the seatbelt, a device engineered with the singular primary purpose of saving your life in a catastrophic emergency, is simultaneously the very object most likely to compromise your day-to-day health.
That is ironic.
It really makes you wonder, how many other everyday safety mechanisms in our modern world are secretly harboring hidden risks right beneath our fingertips.
Wow, that is exactly the kind of question that keeps us looking closer. So the next time you fly, remember, buckle up for safety, but definitely wipe it down first. Keep questioning the world around you, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.